Hi, I'm Joe from Empire Music, empiremusic.com in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we are one of only 20 Martin custom shop expert dealers worldwide, which means we get to bring you the coolest Martin guitars specifically from the custom shop. Check out empiremusic.com. Our entire selection of custom shop guitars are on our site, full photo suites, no stock photos, great descriptions to give you an insight to what we think is cool in Martin custom shop. A big part of the Martin Custom Shop is, when you're an expert dealer, is you get a wood locker and you hand select woods for custom shop runs. And today I'm excited to bring you this Martin Custom Shop D-28 Style Quilted Pommele Sapele. Know that when you get any Martin Custom Shop guitar from us, we do a full pro setup to factory spec before shipping and professionally packaged, fully insured, making sure you're getting the best version of the guitar. Now, why this guitar? Well, it's probably my favorite part of my job is getting to design awesome guitars with teams in the custom shops of the brands we work with. And what's really, really amazing about Martin, and you likely know, is they have one of the most unbelievable wood selections in the world. It's really, something that has been part of their DNA since as far back as people have been talking about guitars. They've always had an amazing ability to source instrument materials to give you world famous sonic experiences. Now, this instrument is not a classic Martin design. Obviously, it's an all quilted Sapele guitar. But what's really cool about using the wood library is we design lots of guitars like that. And if you go to our site, you'll see tons of cool guitars that give you our take on classic sounds. But occasionally you run into unique wood sets that are inspiring and give us a really unique opportunity to take a classic structure internally and put it with a modern take on woods. The Quilted Pommele Sapele comes from Africa, and Sapele is in the mahogany family, and there's always like this massive debate over is Sapele mahogany. Sapele is in the mahogany family. Mahogany is mahogany, Sapele is Sapele though. What's really cool about Sapele is it's a little bit harder. So I want you to burn that fact into your brain here for a minute while we talk about the rest of the instrument. What's cool about it is it gives you the, I always think, mahogany's organic percussive touch. If you've ever played any mahogany Martin guitars, you know exactly what I'm talking about when you're playing those open chords. That low G note on your open G, on your G chord is just the thumping. It's just really a driving percussive. It's a very natural sounding wood. The Sapele is just a touch harder, so you get a little bit more note separation with it, which is really, really cool. Obviously, beautifully quilted, top, back, and sides. Let's see here, it's just absolutely stunning wood set. Mahogany neck, ebony finger board and bridge, standard scale length, of course. But then, what is the real fun, and I think the part that is like the science, is what do we do with the inside of the guitar? Because our goal is to make a great sounding guitar and bring these woods to the best of their capabilities. So we did a 5/16 inch bracing that is scalloped. What's really, really interesting about Martin guitars is they have, over the years, used hundreds of different bracing patterns, and I mean that literally. It's just like, since the 1800s, it's like they've used all these different bracing patterns. And a small change from a 1/4 inch to 5/16 of an inch, scalloped or not, can make a massive difference in the instrument. So what we did is, since we have a wood like the Sapele, which is a little bit harder, a little bit stiffer, we went with a little bit harder and stiffer bracing, the 5/16 inch, to make sure that we're bracing it tightly to make sure that it opens up and pushes. Because this does not have the output of a D18 or a D-28. If you want a spruce top output for Martin, like super loud, those guitars are there for that. This guitar is a sweeter, a little bit more mature sounding, a little bit rounder sounding guitar. And I'll tell you kind of what my path was on thinking through and the need for it. But then we scallop the bracing, so we have 5/16, a little bit stiffer, but then we scallop it to give it the warmth and the fatness and the ability to project. So you're really creating a wider bracing to get note separation, and then you're scalloping it to give us a fullness and amount of overhead that we want. Now, who would want this guitar? Raise your hand, and I'm watching. If you've ever played a D-28 and you try to play and sing oftentimes that guitar is so powerful that it's like you really can't sing over top. You almost have to shout over it. And people want, or a D18, the same story, very powerful. But then you go to a triple O or an OM body shape, and it's not as full sounding. So now we have this problem. Like, you want the tone of a big guitar, but the output's too great to sing over. So we go to a smaller guitar, but now we don't have the tone, so our voice can now fit with it. So this kind of is a mishmash of those ideas, right? This, by going with the Sapele top, it does bring the overhead down, which lets us get the sound and the sonic profile of a big guitar, but a little bit more tempered. But not so much so that if you got together with other guitar players, you're not gonna be heard. This guitar is plenty loud. I think this would be fine for 95% of the people that come through the door. Now, if you're a classic flat picker and you're playing against banjos and horns and you're playing unplugged, like, this is not gonna do the trick for you. But most of us aren't doing that. I think that a lot of us are playing more traditionally medium light attack and medium heavy attack. This has plenty of output there. So that bracing profile matched with the wood combination gives, I think, the best representation of this wood profile. And it gives us something that Martin doesn't offer. Like, you can't get this in a Martin guitar. And I've had so many experiences in person with customers or over the phone where this type of guitar solves their problem. Thinking big, sounding big, but just a little bit more controlled. You get a modified low oval PA taper neck, so a very comfortable modern neck shape. The Grover Vintage tuners, we put a classic headstock design on, a beautiful sound hole rosette, the D-28 style black binding. So it's a very, I think, just classic looking guitar, just a beautiful looking guitar. And obviously the wood speaks for itself. So you get, think about that, is you're getting the warmth and percussiveness of Martin's mahogany guitars. You're getting the focus, a little bit smaller guitar, but enough tone and bass and fullness of the big guitar. So that's who it's for. So if you have questions about it, always reach out to our guys. Myself, anybody here can hook you up. We can take you through the guitar and kind of give you a good explanation of how it may or may not work for you. Now, if you watch any of my videos, you know two things. I like to do dynamic range, and I like to do the mids of the instrument, because I think these are things that impact every player regardless of style. We need to know how big the guitar can sound or how it sounds quietly, and we need to know if the guitar is clean through the middle. That's kind of a truth for every player that I come in contact with. So let's go through and do those two things, and we'll see what we think. First thing first, I think what's cool about this guitar is that when you play lightly, it sounds really, really great. I mean, if you play this guitar like you're picking through it, it sounds really fat. The notes are super defined and clean and don't kind of jump all over top of each other. Each note gets a voice. You get a lot of matureness, which a lot of times, if you've ever played some of these dreadnoughts that are great and they're super powerful, but at a low attack, it just sounds like very underwhelming because you know what it's capable of. This guitar kind of gives you its A+ right out of the gate. As it opens up, you feel all that percussive bottom end, you feel that note separation, you feel the definition of each note, which is really, really important. As you push all the way to the top, it does not, again, output like a D-28. I think it's probably 75% of that, 80% of that. You know what I mean? It's just not all the way there. But to me, I think that's compelling because a lot of times we want, again, the tone of that big guitar, but we want a little bit more controlled. This absolutely nails it. Now the mids of the guitar, what's really cool and something I wasn't really 100% expecting, is a ton of sustain through those open notes with no work. I mean, just picking lightly, giving us a lot of sustain, a lot of notes after you hear them. So I think the clarity of the instrument is A+. It's the Martin Custom Shop D-28 Style Quilted Pommele Sapele Empire Music exclusive. Check out our entire selection at empiremusic.com of everything Martin Custom Shop. We have tons of cool instruments. So if you love this one, we'd love to talk to you about it. If it's not for you and you're looking for something else, we've got an incredible selection of instruments that really shows you everything can be done in the custom shop. We're excited to work with you. We can help you design your custom shop guitar. More importantly, if you select the Martin guitar from us, anywhere from a little Martin backpacker to custom shop, full pro setup, we dial it in, make sure it's the best Martin guitar on earth. We're really proud of that. Check out empiremusic.com, chat with us through the site. I'm Joe from Empire Music. I look forward to hearing from you.